One of the most common, unanswered questions from the show is about Walt and why he was so special. Walt wasn't just special because of his abilities. He was special because he was going to someday be the man in charge of the island. As previously discussed, a piece of the island's electromagnetic light, i.e. the source, exists within every human being, powering consciousness and existence as we know it. Some people have a greater connection, awareness of that light within themselves than most and can tap into that reservoir of power in various ways. Walt was one of these people. But we also met other characters who demonstrated that psychic abilities were absolutely real. Hurley could see and speak with the dead, which means part of him was so in tune with the source that he could unconsciously access what existed beyond the flash sideways to speak with those who had already rejoined with it. Remember, time does not exist within the source. Any of the dead can be summoned by the island to help in the real world. Elsewhere, Miles also demonstrated psychic sensitivity. His power was on a read-only setting. But he could access the memories of the dead if a body or remains were present. The light in a person has gone out, but an echo of their consciousness remains. Because it still exists within the source. These psychic powers develop at different points in life, for different reasons, but all of the powers are connected to the source. The show alludes to multiple people spread around the planet who have some kind of deep communion with the light that exists within them. Remember Isaac the faith healer who tried to cure Rose's cancer in Australia? He claimed to be above a place of great energy, perhaps magnetic or geological. He claims to be able to harness that energy and give it to others. Clearly, he is referring to the source, which runs deep beneath the island and across the earth, flowing out from the island and into the world. Some people, like Walt, John Locke, Desmond Hume, Hugo Reyes, Miles Strawn, Dogen, Jacob, the Man in Black, and even off-island characters like Achara and Richard Malkin, can harness this connection to the light within themselves and use it, intentionally or accidentally. The source ultimately guides everything and everyone to complete the grand tapestry of time that is our existence. Walt's inner light shines bright. It is so bright that he is like a walking magnet. He could attract different kinds of energy towards him, much like Jacob could draw people to the island. But Walt does this unconsciously. Astral projection is demonstrated in the show on more than one occasion. This is how Jacob left the island into the external world without the need for transport. He traveled by harnessing the light. It is implied that Jacob used the mirrors in the lighthouse, which projected him off the island. When we see Jacob visiting the candidates, we are actually seeing his reflection. Walt demonstrates a similar ability but with less control. Miss Clue asks Michael if Walt ever appeared in a place he wasn't supposed to be. She implies that Michael might have seen Walt even though he was on the other side of the world. In Season 2, Shannon sees Walt on several occasions in the jungle. In one of the Lost Missing Pieces Mobisodes, which was a series of short web episodes released online to fill in mythological gaps, we are shown Ben and Juliet arguing on Hydra Island outside of Room 23. This is where Walt is being kept and, presumably, tested. Juliet claims that both Tom Friendly and Beatrice Clue are afraid to go in. She asks Ben why they took Walt at all, and Ben replies that it was on Jacob's request. Whatever Walt was doing in Room 23, it was drawing in a lot of energy towards him. This helped him to project himself across to the main island to get help. Only he doesn't know how to control his powers yet. It is also possible that he does this unconsciously during his sleep or through his dreams. In Season 3, Locke sees a vision of an older Walt giving him instructions. Once again, this is an astral projection. Walt is back in the real world, possibly asleep at home, and he is projecting to the island to talk to Locke, the person he was closest to there. Later in Season 5, when Locke visits Walt in New York, Walt mentions how he has been having dreams about Locke and the island, which turn out to be premonitions of the Man in Black. Walt's psychic abilities were erratic and untrained, but he had been communicating with the island for some time through his sleep and unconscious. The island summoned him to put Locke back on his path towards the time loop. Most importantly, Walt could sense future events coming. Once again, like Jacob. In Season 1, Walt warns John Locke not to open the hatch. Walt senses the future that this action will lead to, i.e. his father, Michael Dawson, murdering 2 innocent women down there. Opening the hatch leads to his father's ruin. Whether he saw a flash of this or simply intuits it, this feeling drove him to want to get off the island with his father on the raft. Because Walt was so young and inexperienced, he was unable to control or understand these gifts. As he gets older, with the right mentor, he could learn to harness the light within himself to be more like a Dogon, and eventually a successor to Jacob. After Hurley retires from the position as protector, there is little doubt that Walt will take over the job from him. This is heavily implied in the series epilogue called The New Man in Charge. Walt will return to the island to help his father, Michael, move on into the light. He will learn to use his powers under Hurley and Ben's tutelage then, when older and once ready, he will take the reins of the island and usher in the next era of peace. That is his purpose. That is his destiny. Thank you for watching. Future videos will be forthcoming on other mysteries in the show. Until then, stay lost.